come on, Steve. Let's look at the Attitude Era. Let's look up and down that roster. You mean to tell me there were 50 guys back there that wanted to be superstars and had the potential to be superstars, and there aren't 50 today?
Well, it was really interesting because when you go back then, Vince, and you were there, and I've said this, I think I said it on my last, I was doing a podcast with Mark Bell from Super Training Gym, and he was talking about the Attitude Era, and I was talking about the crew of guys that was in that locker room, and I said, Jesus Christ, Mark, I said, hell, 3/4 of that locker room are going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Half of them are already there, and more are going to come. But it was such a special group of people, and you know, you're right there in the thick of it. Everybody was over, but it was just a real. I think it was very rare that we had so many guys that were so good, that were so over, and also with the creative freedom that was there. And you know, man, Jesus, back in, I mean, you might want to have a knife with you because, you know, the competition was so thick. The political structure was less. I'm not going to say that's the biggest problem, but, you know, we were able to go out on a limb creatively, and you were one of the ones, you know, kind of leading the charge with some of those storylines. So we were pushing the envelope creatively. Guys were just going crazy trying to get over, but it was just a special, it really was. And Taker was there. Everybody was there. He's been there 25 years, but that was a very, I think, unique situation to have so many talented, badass people on a crew. I think it's probably been, unless you go back to early days of NWA when almost everybody was over then on that show, it was just a rare locker room. I haven't seen, it hasn't been repeated since.
Steve, let me ask you this. You know, you're around. I see. I don't want to. I got to be careful.
As much as you think I am.
But you're around once in a while.
Yeah.
Listen, here's what I'm not around at all, bro. They won't let me anywhere near a WWE locker room. But Steve,
how does
listen,
it feel having this perceived heat,
bro? I'm so blackballed. It's not even funny.
Okay,
but
so
see,
make your point.
My point is this. I cannot believe, and this has a lot to do with it, Steve, I cannot believe that today's core is anywhere near as passionate as we were. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Bro, I remember working with you guys. You guys would not settle for mediocrity, bro. You wanted every show to be great, every match to be great, every promo to be great. There was such pride and passion, bro. When I watch the show today, that's not coming through my TV.
I can't say it's because of the boys, because I couldn't go to that locker room, and I am there enough, and with Cena still leading the charge, who's a very good friend of mine, I don't think that if he was here, I mean, I don't want to put any words in his mouth, but as passionate as that guy is, I think he could speak to that, for that whole locker room. I can't say that the guys aren't as passionate as we were. I can't say that because I think they are, but I think, Vince, is like it's the micromanagement. It was the freedom. I mean, if you go back to the older days and some of the glory days when you were watching, and back at, you know, WrestleMania 1 through 3, which you really dug, those guys kind of had their marching orders or some direction, but everybody in that locker room was a character, and almost everybody in that locker room was over. I think it has to do with the creative freedom. And going back to the Attitude Era, man, you know how wild that was. Once I started coming on, I didn't give a damn. I was going to push the envelope. I was going to say the things that I said because, you know, I started gaining traction, started getting that confidence, and then DX, strength in numbers, all those guys started working off of each other and getting confidence and just really coming out of their shell. Taker was still doing his thing. Mick Foley, all those guys. I'm leaving out names. Rock comes up. I mean, Nation of Domination. Ron. I mean, dude, it was like just a bunch of alphas out there, just, you know, kicking and scratching, trying to get to the top. I think these guys today in the locker room, I just think that the world, it's the whole world, Vince. Everything is so PC, and the micromanagement, I think everybody's almost walking on eggshells because WCW is not around anymore. TNA, with all due respect, they're still around, but nobody wants to work there if you don't have to. You know, the other promotions, I don't need to name it. WWE is the big leagues. It's micromanagement, and I think the micromanagement has got the ceiling, keeping a lot of people from getting over.
All right, Steve,
Does that make sense to you at all?
It does, but I'm going to hit you with a couple of things. First of all, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. When it comes to from bell to bell, bro, I know the animal of the professional wrestler. When it comes to that ring, that's a very prideful ring. I don't think anybody ever phones it in. I think every athlete who gets in that ring is going 120%. They're busting their ass. They're doing the best they can at their trade. So when I say passion, I don't mean passion in their work. But, Steve, here's part of the passion. You talk about micromanaging. When I was working with you, okay, I knew my writing talent had to match Steve Austin's in-ring talent and in-ring ability. It couldn't be less because I couldn't bring you down, bro. So I had to come up to your level. Now, I fully knew, Steve, if I would have brought you crap, you would have looked at me and said, Vince, were you smoking this afternoon? Like what? And you wouldn't have had a problem with it. And Steve, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Okay, today they micromanage. I agree. But isn't it the responsibility of the performer? Because here's the problem, Steve. There's no respect for the performer. If they respected their performers, there'd be no micromanaging. I respected your opinion. Take his opinion, everybody's opinion. Today, if we're micromanaging, it's because we don't trust our talent. Now, when I talk about passion, isn't part of that passion looking at the writer and saying, you really want me to go out there and say this? Isn't that part of the passion?
Nah, I think because there's nowhere else to go, and the system, dude, the system is so strong. I got my thumbs right here. I'm just trying to show you. I just think everybody's under the thumb. There's nowhere else to go. I just think that in today's system, they are trying to present the product in the light that they are, and everybody's told how and what to say everything, and it's just that they feel that these writers are coming up with these things that these people need to say because that's what they want from management, whether that's events, however they decide that. But I don't think it's trusting the performer. It's the fact that that's how they want it done. That's how they want it said. It's almost like writing, I don't know whether it's a drama, a sitcom, whatever you call it. They just want everything scripted. And I think in doing so, you take away the spontaneity of the business, the feeling that almost anything could happen, because back in the Attitude Era, almost anything could and did happen. And so there's sometimes that sense of urgency, that energy is lost because you are kind of halfway, 3/4 winging it. You know, you might have given me a couple bullet points to say or general direction, and same with my opponent, whoever it might have been at that time. But all of a sudden, you know, there was that ability for us to freelance, fill in the blanks, follow the story, and ad lib a little bit and work off that crowd, feel the whole thing. And I think that's just kind of been lost in today's system. They want everything done their way.